I'm Ray Flowers from SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Fantasy Alarm and BaseballGuys.com here in Las Vegas, and I watch Fantasy Sports Network.
I'm Adam Ronis for Fantasy Sports Network. We're here at the FSTA convention in Las Vegas. I'm with Ray Flowers from SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Fantasy Alarm and BaseballGuys.com. Ray, just talk a little bit about how you got started in the industry and what are you doing now?
It's a long road. It was a winding road. I was in college. I was studying theology and history, doing some writing on the side, and one thing kind of led to another. Part-time job became a bigger part-time job, became a full-time job. I was right on the cusp of going to get my PhD, actually, and I got a full-time option to work for Fantasy Planet back in the day, fantasybaseball.com, and that was 14 years ago. And it's been a wonderful journey, and I'm really excited now because, as you noted, baseballguys.com was purchased by Fantasy Alarm, so we've now got a great combination there, and so I'm really looking forward to what 2014 has to bring.
Did you ever think when you took that job 14 years ago that the industry would be this big as it is today?
Kind of hoped, but no. I mean, and it's funny, I was having this discussion last night with some people. I used to eat top ramen and eat hot dogs. I mean, I was in my house and, grinding it out. It's 11 o'clock at night on a Friday working, and it was kind of at the genesis of when all this started. So I was fortunate enough to kind of see the growth and the expansion of it. And now we've got all these huge entities that are involved, and it continues to grow. And I have been surprised by it, but it makes all the sense in the world because sports is so important to people.
So now you're telling me you eat shrimp and lobster and ride around in limousines?
I do. Yeah, some abalone. I go and I make it rain when I go out and everything. Yeah, Cristal. It's a big deal now. All
right, we don't want to get you in trouble, so we'll veer off that subject. 24-hour Fantasy Sports Network. What are your thoughts on that? Is it needed in this industry?
I think it is. I think it's the next logical step. There needed to be something to get the message out besides the writing. Now you've got companies like ESPN doing a lot on television. You've got SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, which kind of is paving the way for this. And I think it's just, it's another one of the steps of the evolution. People want to hear information, they want to see information. There's a lot of things you can do on television that you can't obviously do on radio, graphics and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a wonderful place to be.
When you were first approached and brought on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, you hear about a 24-hour fantasy sports network. Did you think it was going to work? Did you think it was a good idea? Where did you think it was going to evolve into?
I was hopeful that it would work because, I'd always said, look, to my bosses, I'm okay at writing, but I think I'm pretty good at talking and that kind of thing, so get me on the radio or something like that. And Kyle Lofrink and I, my co-host, were fortunate enough to be, right at the start, when the network launched. And it's been really interesting to see how it's grown there too, because now we have celebrities on the channel. We do these events that we all go become a part of. So I think that just like the television aspect, it's grown on the radio to the point now where it's legit. It's one of the bigger stations on SiriusXM. It's not just people that are in their basement do fantasy sports anymore. The whole industry has grown to the point where like 1 out of every 10 people in the United States plays. So it's legit now, and it's not something you have to be embarrassed about telling someone you do.
We're seeing so much growth in the industry. We're seeing new companies. The daily fantasy games are developing and becoming more popular. Where do you see this industry going in the next 5 years? How much more gains can there be? Yeah,
I personally I'm a baseball guy first and foremost, so I like the grind. I like the 162 games. I like the 6 months of it, but a lot of people don't. And you get into mid-June and your team's in 8th place and you're kind of looking to do something different. So I think the expansion of the daily games is probably where a lot of this is going, because you can pick that new team every day. It doesn't matter what you did yesterday. And so that's probably the area in the fantasy industry I think that's going to continue to grow. You've got marginalized sports to some extent, hockey, basketball. Those, they're inching forward a little bit too, but the daily game, I think that is where the future is for fantasy sports.
How much has it changed the way you cover fantasy sports from years ago with the advent of the radio, Twitter, social media, where people want information immediately now? How has that changed your life? I'm sure you're on Twitter all the time.
I am. Sometimes people laugh and they say, do you ever sleep and that kind of thing? It's like, well, I'm able to multitask fairly well, so I can write an article, I can be tweeting at the same time, I can be talking, I can be tweeting at the same time. It's a great way to reach people, because back in the day you'd write an article and you'd have a comment section on the bottom, and maybe someone would say something and they'd see what you posted back to them, but now you can have that immediate interaction. Someone breaks their leg, people want the answer right there, you can flash it out to them. So the the social media aspect of things has really changed, and I think a lot of people were kind of slow to pick up on that. Luckily enough for me, Jason Collette, who you know, kind of pushed me into the Twitter thing years ago. I was like, I don't even know what this is, and I think now it's almost to the point where people pay a lot more attention to that than any of the writing I do. So.
All right, Adam Ronis here with Ray Flowers from SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Fantasy Alarm, and BaseballDies.com here at the FSTA convention in Las Vegas.